Alrighty, there we go. Hello everyone, it is Ben here from Second Dynasty. It is Friday. I am broken. It's the fifth day of the week, but I think it's like my seventh work day, if that makes any sense. I've been burning the candle at both ends. The whole team has. Getting ready for Monday's release. There's still a lot of work to do, amongst everything else, a pitch video, and I'm sorry we'll have to settle for my own incredibly limited talents when it comes to that, as Hannes unfortunately is also very swamped. And so today I don't really have a great plan, but there are a few things that we need to talk about. And the first thing I'm thinking is actually to say g'day to you guys in the chat. So who we got today? We've got John. Hey John, hope you are having a good day, mate. We've got Doug Jeffries, we've got Solo Spirit, we've got Shergol. Shadow Lager is here early today. Carbonhead, of course, is our very own Albin, who is responsible for all of the weird background noise. We have Anders Lerka. We've got Brian Rombau, we've got Will Richards, Jaron is here, and I think that's most of the names there. So yeah, welcome to the stream. John's working away on the tribe model. Maybe you'll have a stream of your own this weekend, or today even. Maybe there will be a post-stream stream. I don't know, we haven't really discussed it, but Shadow Liger says, first thing, the ships have looked amazing. Everyone and everything will be okay. Yeah, well, honestly, Liger, the main thing that I'm worried about is it's a brand new platform for us. I think we've got about 525 sign-ups at the moment, which I'm comfortable with. I do feel like most of those people are genuinely our interested past backers. I may have, like... The thing is, I think I've underestimated because last year I was like, oh, Sleipnir was our best-selling ship, and I forgot we were selling it for $22.22 on last year's Second Dynasty Day. Speaking of which, Second Dynasty Day is tomorrow, and we do have some tribes promotion going on and some tribes changes that I'm going to go over in just a little bit. John will correct me if I've got anything wrong. Hey, Eric Anderson from Georgia, USA. Anderson being a very Scandinavian name. Well, Eric is too, to be honest. Let's see. And Tamsin is here as well. Nice.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I've already kind of said it, but in case you didn't figure it out from me saying I'm on my 7th full work day this week. What I mean by that is I've been putting in double shifts, and I'm pretty exhausted. I'll maybe be having most of tomorrow off. But the good news is BackerKit have said that the campaign's been approved. We'll go for launch on Monday. Just trying to settle on whether or not we're going to launch at 5 o'clock or at 6 o'clock. But we're going to go live that day. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it will be. According to BackerKit, it's quite similar to what Kickstarter was like 5 years ago. So we should see an initial surge as people sort of stream in that have, saved the date. And then after that, it should be a steady stream until a final sort of like push at the end. So hopefully all goes well.
Push to the limit.
We are going to launch exactly on the smack of the o'clock. I think I mispronounced that slightly, but yeah. It's nice to actually hang out with you guys and talk. Honestly, if I had a beer, I'd probably just sit here and drink a beer and yawn for an hour. But there are some things I really want to show off because they're very, very cool. Hey, Overboard. So, yeah, let's get started. And then we can talk about tribes, and then we can go into looking at what we might actually get done today. if you guys follow us for Traveller, there was an update just recently. Normally I save it for a bit later in the day, but I decided to send it out just to get it done. So we did have a release last week of the Zidani Scion, and we're at the posing phase for the male Zidani Scion. Sorry, not Scion, Noble. And also I put out a new link to decide the fate of the community miniature. This was during our last Kickstarter, the Fifth Frontier War. We had a stretch goal, a social stretch goal, which allowed the community to pick a miniature that we would have sculpted up and include as a part of that campaign. Now, we had open for around about a month voting for a pretty wide selection of, I think, about 25 different possible models. And if I had been smart, I would have that up. Let's see, we can go back to this, but we can see the results here. So the results were that with equal 43 votes, or 35.5% of the vote, we have a female sword welder, like basically a space Valkyrie, which is kind of thematic tonight. A shipboard working dress, which I think is just like a uniform kind of mechanic type crew member for the Imperial Navy, I'm pretty sure. And the last one was Aesir Noble in armor with cloak. So I've put up a new 10 responses already. It looks like so far the Zidani Noble is winning, but yes, we have, this time you can only make one choice. So get your votes in. The link is in the most recent Kickstarter update. The reason I'm not going to share it here is because I would prefer it if people that actually back the campaign make the choices. It would not be really fair if you guys just came along and chose for them when those guys were the ones that, you know, forked out the dough, so to speak. Anyway, that's where we're at with that. Alban, can I get some assistance showing off a little bit of show and tell?
Oh, yeah.
We actually have a ton to show and tell. But some things are easier to show than others. Let me switch over to my close-up camera. And it looks like we're starting with what I'm going to show off in Maya. Actually, let's put that on the desk and start off with the Valkyria. So, although not 100% painted, here is the Valkyria shuttle.
Woo-wee.
Which has a little bit of asymmetry to it. The interior is not fully done yet, right?
Not really, but...
Not really, but yes.
Yes, but no.
Yes, but no. And I need to be careful with this. Ooh, shake! I can hear it shaking up. I think the paint job on this, my camera's too shitty to show it properly. But some of the little greebles and things, like this scanner in the rear, I love the way that dish came across. I'll show you guys how we've actually made it and how going forward this is a really exciting development. You can see the airlock there for a sense of scale. So it's about 5 stories, actually 3 decks. With your sort of engineering block, your cargo deck, and then your command deck. I can't show those off because I think Alban's actively working on the scene, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll save that for next week. And one thing to mention is that we are going to be streaming but next Monday when we launch. However, it will be on the platform for Backer Kids. So they have their own streaming. We're going to set that up, and we're going to try and get a good vibe going before we launch. So hoping that works out as well as it does on YouTube. Now, I just want to point out something that I'm immensely proud of, and that is how much better Fenrir and Sleipnir look in 2025 compared to 2020. This is the 4 of Fenrir, with formerly known as the Notanante. It has its railgun, it has its PDCs out. You can see the PDC slots are much more detailed. The PDCs themselves, I haven't talked much about it, but they're so print friendly. Guys, 100% support free. And these fold away very nicely. Of course, you can rotate them. You can see it's actually not as flippy floppy as it used to be. And even the doors too are much stiffer to move. And then the real beauty is when we start unstacking the decks. Now, excuse me, I have to do this off camera because it requires two hands. I've tried to film myself. I got at least there's a little bit of support material in there. So here is your main deck for the cockpit. You can kind of see two stations there. You've got your sort of table. That's a familiar sort of sight from some of our ships. I think we put that up first in, I want to say it's an Erebus model. The chairs have got a little bit of an update. You can see all these screens in there now. Just a lot more detail. Look at the detail on the wall back there with that sort of pattern. It came out so well. So happy. And then of course I can show off folding away the PDCs. They slot in nicely, and you can even see it has a track there that it fits into. Real nice. And then we close the doors. There we go. This one's been slightly stubborn. Oh, because I put it in reverse. That would be why. Also, I hadn't correctly clipped in the door. So we get a nice tight close, and again, you can rotate the cannons a lot better. See how it's actually staying up at a degree, supporting its own weight, and this part is now separate, so the peg is its own thing. The gun is separate. Also, this is a new model variant, which I think I showed off last week, but we'll take a look at those later. And then we actually have the deck above. I'm really curious to see what you guys are saying in chat, but right now I've got it closed up. This is a bit more fiddly than I'd like to get the top deck off. I think if you're running it on a game table, you might just leave the very tip off. Because it is a snug fit. But we have the upper deck, which has this little ladder well. Let's see, could you perhaps focus on not my hands, but the model, please? No, I guess not. My stupid hair is in the way again. It just likes the salt and pepper so much, this camera. Probably a lot more salt in the last few weeks. So yeah, there's the upper deck. There's kind of like a screen. You can see the railgun mounting here. And let me fit this together. Let's back the front. And lift it up into your view. And at the moment, none of this is, each deck just stacks off. But you can see there from the sort of navigation deck, there's a ladder well that runs down to the next level. Open bridge. This is a fantastic evolution, I feel, from where we were at with the original. Now I'm just gonna put the roof back on, show you guys in Maya, and maybe a render or two. Just stacking this back together so I've got enough room on my desk. And perhaps, just perhaps, I should have a bit of a drink. Alrighty, let's get Maya kicked up. Oh, that's right, we were going to look at tribes, but since we just discussed this, I don't have the PDCs in yet. But if we sort of zoom in through the walls, you can kind of see here the same environment I was showing off. You've got your upper deck area here. Sorry about the clipping. Let me just see about taking off the top. Let's see, Fenrir nose. Let's hide that. You can kind of see down below. So really happy with the way these have turned out. Great detail. Lots of systems we can reuse, like those. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to this. And the Fenrir, not the Fenrir, the no, Nidhogg is going to have a deck design bridge sort of area similar to the Pella, I would say, if you've watched The Expanse. Anyway, where is my chat? So what have people been saying? Let's see. Be nice to Alban, don't make him hold anything more than a kilo. Oh, well, I mean, unfortunately, the Valkyria is 1.1 kilos. Yeah. And people are calling it a football, which is not inaccurate. Nice. With all the knobs and spikes, surely it's a pineapple, Tamsin says. Beautiful front of the not Anante. Someone says, flippy flop is the Swedish term, right? Well, John Game says, do you want Ben to get another webcam? Back to Aesir Fleet, no, we'll work my magic of nagging him when there. He will also pick the model and order it. He'll just make me press the button. Then we can have a movable table cam. Mojave Wolf, welcome to the chat. Wow, that looks so much better. Thank you. And the less floppy PDCs are much loved as well. So, some people have been asking, why get the Sleipnir refit? Why get the Fenrir refit? Why not, how does it differ from the original? This is a complete rebuild. I've spent over a month on both ships. Of course, the Notanante was never an official product either. That is what has become the Fenrir. So that was our sort of Sleipnir with all the bells and whistles as close to a certain Martian gunship that rhymes with Notanante. So, yeah, it just, it's a complete rebuild and overhaul. Now, we will be updating our old files, so there are a few things you could benefit from. One of those things is the new system that you can see here for the sort of sensor towers, the masts. So these used to be integrated in the plate. Now they are separate and just clip in, and even the prongs are separate. All designed so that they have the correct orientations for the strongest possible print. Well, I mean, the towers still print vertically, but we had an issue where we kept breaking the spikes on top, and it was all integrated with the plate. It was a mess. It will benefit from benefit. It will benefit from the new PDC versioning. So the PDC housings and the PDCs themselves, including their sort of mounts, we will update those for all versions, just because it's like an improvement in printability. The same with our RCS. We'll get this version standard instead of the old one. The main difference here, aside from a tiny bit of fidelity that's kind of hard to notice, is that it also has these supporting clip holes, meaning it's compatible with more pieces. And I may even add some additional ones. What else? Also, like, I know the bottom plate of the Sleipnir was one of those areas where people always complained about it. I think too, because it doesn't add too much to it. It would be the new engine is going to be added. You can see all of these supports down the bottom, which is designed to keep the droopage to a minimum, because these are quite large pieces. So there are some updates that you'll be getting anyway. The big changes are places like here. So maybe I have, if I turn off the models there, I guess we've got one little straggle clip here, and if I turn on my, let's see, I want the engineering deck, the old version. So I'm in the process of converting the floor here to Gridforge, or rather, I'm a lot further along than this. It's just a case of I haven't sorted my scene properly. You can see that there are some changes, but the major change is that we had these sort of like inserts in the walls that you slip down. And the idea here was that we could give you a lot more modularity. And it was an experiment in modularity. Ultimately, I don't think it was worth it. So one of the other main differences between the refits is you can see now that these are flush with the hull and integrated. So anything that's hard to paint, we've tried to keep separate. But these have nice wide areas. It's quite easy to get into, and in fact, the actual hull acts as a nice handhold. So you can see here too that we have some clip holes for supporting clips. I'm not sure how will they line up, and we've gone back and forth on whether or not we would invent a diagonal frame for Gridforge, B, we would keep a mix of OpenLock and Gridforge, and C, at present, I can show you guys on the deck that I have been working on. Let me just hide the bridge. The C variant is like so, where we have this isn't exact because we're going to have a 3 and a 1, but we have these custom floor tiles which are designed to print as Gridforge tiles, only they have the diagonal parts integrated and you just have a gap underneath. So you're not connecting to everything. It does allow this to also be compatible with all the OpenLock tiles. But again here, the suit room used to actually come all the way into here. So this was a lot tighter. This here is where the wall ended, close to the airlock. And now it's all just integrated into the wall here. This does mean this is no longer compatible with our old light kits. We don't sell them anymore anyway. But yeah. So the main differences between the refit versions, a lot of it is interior based. It's A, we've converted everything to Gridforge where possible, and B, we've pushed everything into the walls so you have more play space. So when I rip off, for example, a level of the Sleipnir with this area, it feels like there's very little place for your miniatures to go. That has changed now. And it feels like a bigger ship, consequently. I think back in the day, a part of it was the idea that the Rossi had this outer hull and an inner hull. Not that we were ever showing it off. Now I'm just like, no, we're going more the toy route, where it's more about playability than 100% accuracy, because we can't be accurate anyway because of the scale. Alright, let's see what people have been saying. A table cam does sound like a good idea. I can't disagree with that. It's more a case of like, the streams do take away from production hours. Like, it does take a little bit of work to keep them going and also to make a habit out of it. And figure out what we're going to show off. Shadow Wagger says, oh sorry, I think we missed one here. John said, yeah, I'm thinking a Kaio with a ring light for him. What? Oh, right, the type of camera you're talking about, yeah. Shadow Wagger says, I'm stoked with the quality. Thanks, man. And I might need to make handrails for the top bit of the cockpit. We are looking into that sort of thing. It certainly can be added, but we literally had a discussion, Albin and I, about half an hour ago, about how we can update the railings and perhaps make them more compatible with Gridforge. It won't be something we decide today. Let's see. can't think of anything else that rhymes with not a Nante. Ariana Grande. Mojave Wolf, or Wolfie, says MCRN Donkey Balls. Toy language is winning. I mean, we need to look at practicality. And at the end of the day, I think a part of it is conning ourselves that we're not, building toy spaceships. I hope I didn't put anyone off with that. So before we get into more in this extensive scene, which is feeling more disorganized, since I think I'm up to date with all the comments, we can look briefly, if I can remember where to look. I think it has to be here. So here is our tribes, and John, please keep an ear out so that I can explain this correctly. So tribes, we were offered a promotion slot for tomorrow, Second Dynasty Day, the 22nd. We have a ship going on sale for 22.22, I believe. Which ship did we settle on again? Was it Odyssey? I want to say it's Odyssey, but yeah. Waiting on the confirmation from John. It's the Chimera. Okay. Oh, the Chimera Odyssey. Yeah. There you go. So this was a campaign we did several years ago. It is the version of the Chimera that has an awesome bubble cockpit up the front. So if you haven't picked up that ship, it's going to be very cheap for a ship that is some 80 centimeters long, or 2.5 feet. I think that's about right. It's kind of behind me here, so let me see if I can make the camera big and just point it out. That's it there. So that massive ship, you can see my hand to scale. And yeah, that's just the base version of the ship, I believe. So correct me if I'm wrong, John. But we also are changing up our tribe, since this focus in particular is on our tribe. Now, I have to say, before anything else, using a hand to scale, you are becoming American. Yes, because Americans invented feet and thumbs. Mm-hmm. How big is the hand? It's this big. Anyway, I don't want to get into the exact measurements, as not to reveal too much about myself. But the tribe, it's been a long time since we've had it up, and we've had it divided in, I think we've been up for about 3 years now. This is our 3rd year with a tribe. And rather than focusing on this whole, $1, really? $1 for a miniature? Not to sort of, shit on some of the other people that are making that, but in our category, for example, if you click on tribes, which can sometimes take a little time. We can see here under tribes in Sci-Fi, we are on the 2nd page. We've gone up and back and forth between the 2nd and the 1st page. But unlike many of these, $1 a month, $1 a month, $1 a month, $1 a month, Station Forge, I think, has a massive, lots of these have Patreons, right? And we're not going to be able to do these kind of numbers, unfortunately, because we just don't. We're focused on quality instead. It does hurt us because we're not on the front page automatically. But I prefer to, offer something that is great value, but not undercutting things as much. Obviously, too, the other thing is, whilst we occasionally delve into miniatures, our thing is vehicles. And it's also environments. So, starting now, we have added a new, I think it's about a $3 tier. Let me click on this because apparently my mini factory is slow as today. They're trying to embarrass me. Which, it is a Friday, I guess. It's a busy day for them. So we've added a new Gridforge level. It's $2.49, so not $3. Yes, it is always slow. They always promise it's going to be quicker, and then you never really see it. It's more a case of it dies on the 1st and 2nd of the month, and now maybe it just dies for the 1st instead of the 1st and the 2nd. Which can be a little bit frustrating. But we have added this new tier for people that just want a few new Gridforge tiles every month. At the moment, the selection is pretty small, but we intend to expand it. So I think in the future there'll be more options in that range. It doesn't put us in the $1 a month category, but it does make it more available, and especially if people are finding that, with the current economic climate, $5 can be hard at times. We're keeping our $5 vehicle tier for now. That doesn't include the Gridforge stuff anymore moving forward. And I should also note that if you're already subbed, this doesn't currently affect your sub. So for example, you will notice that both the commercial license is no longer its own category, and there is no longer a back catalogue. Instead, we've opened up Friends of Benjamin, and which also includes Gridforge, and a bunch of stuff from the back catalogue. Now, if you're already a Friends of Benjamin, I think we might still have an ultra secret club. I'm not sure. It's rather exclusive and hard to get into, and only ever has 22 members. But now you can be a Friends of Benjamin if you want to show us some extra support, so it's not space limited anymore. We've also altered some of the levels of discounts you get based on the tiers. And then commercial license is still available, but it's an add-on, so it doesn't automatically include the files. It's its own thing. It does include discount codes though. Anyway, we're trying something new with this. The old tiers aren't vanishing completely at the moment. I think there's a phase-out period of, I want to say 4 to 6 months or something like that. Is the Odyssey bundle or just the ship going to be discounted for more for Second Dynasty Day? I think it's a 50% sale as well, right, John? Am I right in that? Do we have a 50% sale for one day? I got it for the most part correct. So John, if you want to add anything to the chat, I can correct that. And I agree to all of this stuff with John, it's just I forget. And sometimes I tell him, just sort it out. I can't focus on this right now. Like, for example, this month when I'm a little exhausted and overworked, John is doing a new vehicle for March. We don't have 50% sale at this time as MMF is not pushing that this time. Right, yeah, sorry. The Second Dynasty Day slot that we got was tribes focused. Yeah. We could technically just bump up like the Friends of Benjamin and percentage. Anyway, just for 1 month. Anyway, so not at this point in time. It's more a case of like, how would we communicate it? Honestly, if there are people that are like, hey, I really want to drop some big money on this or that, you can always reach out to us, and usually we're willing to cut a deal anyway. But we can bump up the percentage totally, sir. So we might be able to bump it up just for that one day, for example, and then switch it back down again. I think that would be a pretty cool thing for Second Dynasty Day, actually, to just do it for all three, put 50% and then drop it down again. The only thing is, like, I don't want to mislead people either. So we do need to make sure that's front and center. Anyone, any last things, John, that we need to add?
Any final prayers? Sorry.
I will have clear verbiage added, sir. Thank you, John. Alright, so let's move on from that. And hopefully we see a nice surge in tribers that will help get us back up to that front page. Although I think to be quite honest, we're a fair ways off. Though never say never. So there will be more Gridforge, there will be more vehicles, there can be more friends of Benjaminin. And if you don't know what Benjaminin is, well, you're going to learn. You're going to learn very soon. Sorry. Sometimes it just makes me put it on.
It was super scary earlier today, actually.
Yeah, Albin was not expecting it when it came out. I can't emphasize enough how weirdly comfortable it feels. Anyway, I am going to take a roll of the dice and open a second copy of Maya. Some of the things I'd really like to work on in the next 25 minutes are things that we can have with stretch goals. And I've kind of decided that this time around, we're going to go big rather than small. So instead of having, here's a new turret or a new PDC. Let me see, I want to go to resources and then let's open up our turret and turret port compatible scene. Put on the mask, put on the mask, put on the mask. The only problem is it did not restore my vision. So everything is a blur. Anyway, yeah. As you can see, it alters more than just my face. Anyway, yeah. I haven't tried bringing that home to the wife yet. I have a feeling it might end in divorce, and I don't need to make that come any quicker. Let's see. So we've got our original turret here. This is the version that we had right from the get-go. I've done a few cool variants. In fact, you saw one of them earlier, which was this sort of like, I think it was the pointing outy version, not the pointing inny version. And we've got this cool offset drum version. And then we would work on some barrels. So for example, we wouldn't just have, hey, here is a new style of PDC. We would say, here are 5 new PDC styles, 2 new PDC arm styles. Like for example, we have this more robotic arm style one over here. And they're just, suggestions. And then of course, if you're back in the first 24 hours, you get the PDC version. Where is it? Here, which has its own unique housing, and then for some reason the timeline is very small, and then it pops open and you've got your Space Whiz style turret. So it does have a little bit that sticks out. I have tested this, it does work, it's kind of cool, if a little dumb, but I like it. Benjaminin mask is my favorite. It constantly moves around the office, usually due to one of us. Well, I mean, yeah. Good job, sir. Everyone loves you, sir. This is going to be great, sir. Your John GPT subscription has expired, sir. Well, I always knew there was something suspicious about him. And actually, I was talking about those improvements to the turrets. You can kind of see here, John really did some excellent work taking the original design we had, and it's still print in place, but it's much nicer. It does kind of snap more than turn, but it snaps in the right way. So everything is kept in place, it's nice, and got a little bit of resistance. And we've just done a couple of different variants, because I think there were 3 different variants based on the ship's PDC position. You can see here how much iteration I have done on the original arm, which I don't know if we have an example of anymore. This was my first sort of iteration here. When we built this, this peg was integrated. So this is the first version where the peg was no longer integrated. Though this X shape did cause print issues because this is flat, so there was droopage. The next iteration I tried to tackle that by making it like a crossbeam. Still was drooping too much. So the final sort of version has a number of modifications. One, it has this sort of like side runner here just to make it feel a little bit more snug when it's in place. It has some additions to the slide bar to just make it a little bit more grippy. I've added a little bit of grip to the inside of this turning area, and now this sort of underside is designed to slot into the rails, and we have a third crossbar there, and these print out very nicely now, all in one piece. And in fact, I think I can show you, because I have several I've made here ahead of time. So these came off the printer the other day. They've still got, I was using what we call mouse ears, which are my favorite new sort of support tool. So we'll just remove the supports. And they're not supports, this will print support free. They're, it's more about layer adhesion. So it was more a case of I was running 6 of them. I didn't want them to stuff up. I was running it overnight. So I just put it on to decrease the chances of a failed print. So more a thing to do when you have a lot of items on the board. So let me just remove these, and then I can show you how it looks when it gets ready. Sorry, not when it gets ready. Sorry, my brain is not functioning at full capacity today. There's a little bit that's stuck anyway. So let's try and get this close. You can see it prints flat like so. You can see the underside there. Hopefully it will focus on my nails, not my hair. There we go. So you can see there where the bridging looks much nicer now. There's still a few, I haven't cleaned this up at all. And you can see these are printed in place. So all I just need to do is just gently apply a little bit of pressure to force this closed. So now that opens and closes, like so. And the same thing on the other side. So just rotate it forward and then backward. And then you can see it's just staying a little bit better than it used to. It used to be very floppy. I don't know if I've got an older version here somewhere. Probably not. Oh, it tastes good. Anyway, moving on. We probably just scared off potential customers. I feel like I might have shown this off last time, but this is just by itself a vast improvement over what we used to have before, and it is just applying the engineering we've learned in the last 5 years. All right. Let's see. So we have to import some of these items over, notably the doors and the new PDCs. But hidden in our very, very messy, someone was asking, why do your scenes look so organized compared to my Blender? And it's like, do they? Do they really? We do have these display layers here in Maya, which are quite handy. Though at the moment, there is a lot of blur between the Sleipnir and the Fenrir in this scene in particular. I need to clean it up. I do have some other scenes I did for rendering, because we did do some very cool videos. Let me think. I want to get into... So you can see our prototype folders are really messy at the moment. But if I go to, let's see, I want to go to Aesir Fleet, and then here, and then videos, and then turntables. I can just take you guys through some of these ships. Let's see, so let's start with the Valkyria, since it's the small one. So these are out on YouTube, you've probably seen them already. But it's just like, unfortunately I realised after the fact it's probably not the best idea to have to make the lighting as well. But it does give you a good idea of the shape of the ship. So the ship print, whilst not the best, must have left my system noise on. Sorry about that. I was just saying that I'm sorry about the lighting flickering. That is basically because I forgot to not animate the light. So you can kind of see the direction the lighting's coming from is the same. And it looks like the ship is rotating, which it is. But, well, actually, no, the ship isn't rotating. The camera is rotating around the ship. Anyway, probably just rambling anyway. So that's the Valkyria. We can go to the next larger ship, which is the Ratatosk. This is probably my favorite of the new ships. Because of this cool engine. I was going to have it have the same engines as the Nidhogg. It has a similar nose to the Nidhogg. They're not actually identical, even though they're a similar shape. Same as like the Fenrir and the Sleipnir are pretty much the same. But I love this 3-engine configuration. And yeah, this is, I think, based a little bit on the Morrigan MCRM ships. But you can see I've kind of like put a bit of Rocinante DNA into like that hexagonal RCS sort of, sorry, not hexagonal, octagonal RCS sort of superstructure. Really breaks up the ship in a nice way. And this one will be quite modular as well. I will make adapters as stretch goals so that you can put whichever engine section you want to put on whichever ship. Maybe with the exception of Valkyria, because it's just a different scale. Not literally, but I can hear that music and I'm like, no, it's just in my headphones. Let's see. Next one up would be Sleipnir itself. Looking pretty. Sometimes I just like to look at it because I'm very proud of the design. And yes, we were trying to, make a ship that felt like it would fit in an Expanse-like universe. Same sort of technology level. But I feel like we did find something that was a nice compromise that felt like, yes, this could exist in that universe, but it's its own thing. And then we have the Fenrir, which for some reason is like one of my favorites. What we've just been looking at, partially just because it looks so sexy when it's printed. And I've been replacing my prototype version of the Notanante with Fenrir and like deck by deck, and the difference is surprising me quite a lot in how much better quality it is. And then finally we have the big girl, the Nidhogg. And she is big. She is 95 centimeters, just shy of a meter. For those of you who might have more trouble converting, I guess that's about 3 foot 2 inches. And you could easily, just stack some of these decks. Like this one here in the middle could be stacked. There might be a little bit of a discrepancy in the tiles and how they match up, but it shouldn't be too much. It's really not that apparent. And sometimes looks like a feature rather than an issue. I know there are other areas where you could also stack additional decks, so getting more length is entirely possible. Girth is a little harder for some reason. Anyway, with let's avoid the innuendo there. If you want to check those out for yourself in your own good time, they're on our YouTube channel, which of course you're already kind of on our YouTube channel. So just go and check out what other videos we have and you should quickly find them. Alrighty, let me get back to my chat and see if anyone has done anything. Mentioned anything rather, sorry. Let's see. Music is overwhelming. We've had 0 minutes of modelling this stream, a new standard. Well, we've still got 10 minutes. I want to put a giant bell on the Hyperion. Yes, this was one of the things though. Like, if we reach a certain stretch goal in funding, I'm going to make a new ship. I can hear John going, no! But before you get ahead of yourselves, I want to just do an extension of the Hyperion so that the sphere becomes a capsule, a longer ship that is round and circular, but has a lot more height and many stackable decks to it. How are you going over there, Alvin? The snickering is real. I think we've lost a few viewers. Let's see. Doug Jeffrey says, "Great going, John. Keep down the good work."
Keep down!
Mojave Wolf. The patrol boat is the new ship I am most stoked about. John says, "Reminder, those nozzles print so well with scarf seam." Yes, I know you didn't like how I printed it. 95 centimeters is 37.4 inches. Yeah, so there you go. 1 meter is about 3 foot and 3 inches. Kind of, yeah. Pretty close. Redacted from Shergel, which was like a correction. And John Game says, it didn't even scream because I keep the pain inside of me. Well done, John GPT. Troika class dropship. Oh, the Sphere. I can see other people have been doing those models though, so it feels like comfortable staying away from it. A broadsword. It was a mini broadsword. I'm not talking about scaling it up. I'm just talking about lengthening it. Relax. I know Will is a classic Traveller fan.
Maybe you could do a small sword instead, or a dagger or something. A sax.
A rondel. Oh wait, that's a shield, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a shield.
That would be the saucer.
What do you call those like the cock and balls? Or I shouldn't say that out loud. I'm sorry.
I know, you just sabotaged yourself.
Why did I do that?
Alright, anyway, moving on. And James Collins, welcome. Is there any consideration for doing freighters and mining ships down the line in the Expanse? Oh, well, this is the thing. This other ship, I think, would be more like a cargo ship. And we have had in the past, for example, this is going to look a bit odd because I need to turn on a few decks here. Because the Fenrir and the Sleipnir do share quite a few parts in common. Let's just put these decks on. So we did have, for example, in our original, may as well just put on the rest of these decks actually. Let's put on the bridge. Oh yeah, that's right. I had a few changes there. See, the other thing too is the bridge used to be, I didn't even mention this, but the crazy thing about the bridge of the Sleipnir was it was free floating. So it didn't actually attach to the floor because the walls went up all the way and you would just take off the top deck from here. So both ships are now going to have a split deck like you saw at the top of the show. But yeah, we did have these sort of cargo side racks. Let's see, external cargo. So we had all of these variants. Let me try isolating this and actually let's turn off the bridge here and put the Fenrir bridge on instead and just isolate these so we can, let's put that up and then I'll just try grabbing these ones again. I feel like you didn't work on some of these cargoes, did you? No, that was in Traveller.
Yeah.
So we did have like this cargo version that we put out, and I was thinking maybe we could have big gas ones. I kind of like the idea of doing some more conventional ships. I know you guys want options. Will Richard said, a pocket knife.
Nice save.
Spacesuit minis in combat mode with rifles and pistols and equipment, medical packs, salvage equipment, perhaps a stretch goal. We are looking at doing some miniatures, and actually we did do some miniatures already. So let me think where I have put these. Fenrir, let's see if it's in Starship 5. Then we have our export folder. See, this is all a mess. STLs, and then I want to go and say miniatures. No. No, I think it went straight into the catalog. So STL files, then Sleipnir, and Aesir Fleet's got its own thing here. Here we go, Sleipnir crew new poses. So I talked to Papsicles and said, hey, isn't it a shame that we did 0G, we did casual, we did action, we did seated poses for the Sleipnir crew, but we didn't do lying down. So we now have some lying down poses for all of those guys. I could try and crash this thing by drawing them all into a slicer. Let's do that. The version without supports. It's kind of funny. It's like here's the handoff. And I'm like, so, I can pay you now. And I haven't heard anything from him for like 3 days. So, we're all 7 crew members, because we did 5 originally, but there were a few stowaways and things, like literally. Like this young lady, Jenna Lynn, who I didn't name. That was actually just a name that Papsicles gave to it. And I was like, okay, we'll go with that. And let's see. Kimiko. Geez, John, we might actually go a whole episode without modelling. So I would like to introduce 2 more crew members, and I'm kind of like thinking, like a sort of podgy-like character, like, let's see, here are the poses. Some nice variations there. They actually double nicely also for, wounded characters. Obviously, these are designed more for FDM. But yeah, I'd like to add some additional crew members. And one of the ways... so there will be an add-on pack for these additional poses, and I'm thinking another 10 miniatures of 2 crew members. And we had some suggestions and ideas. We may do a community-based one like we have as well. And I would like to redo the spaceships because... the artist who does... sorry, not the spaceships, the spacesuits. Because the artist who rendered my original designs, my sketches were off a little bit. I want to say... I'm wondering where I have those. I know I sent one to John a while ago, but... maybe it's in here somewhere. Spacesuit... sketch... maybe it's also in my sketches folder. Sketches and designs. Characters, maybe. Let's see. I used to draw a lot, and recently I've gone through a lot of old books. Here we go. So, before I show you that, maybe I should show you what it used to look like. Although it looks like my file browser is a little broken and these aren't actually popping up, so let's just look at the suit fix. Oops. Because I did have some issues where I'm apparently not very good at drawing necks, and consequently this is how I originally envisaged things to look, with a little bit of colouring for the spacesuits. And the result, and this is not really the artist's fault, it's more a case of one of those times where the sketch doesn't quite match up to my vision. Flavoured Pickle, where art thou? You kind of dropped off the face of the planet, but let's see, I think we should be in the catalogue. And STL files, we're going to go into Sleipnir. Crew, and I believe it's a stretch goal. No, drones, spacesuits. I feel like maybe it was an add-on. Yeah, there we go. Spacesuit miniatures. So they ended up looking like these guys. This is a really bad render, but it kind of looks like a frog suit or like a weird, I don't know, anime girl type configuration where it looks like, these are sort of little bear ears on the helmets. There are no real necks. It's not quite what I envisaged with this sort of more utilitarian design. And also this, just the proportions are a bit different. So I think it could be interesting to do like a 2025 version that's a little closer to... I kind of think the helmet here kind of looks like a Bioroid from Super Dimension Cavalry Southern Cross. Speaking of saying goodbye, it's time to conclude, sir. You must rest. Unfortunately, I can't rest. I have a campaign to launch. But yeah, that's kind of like where we're at. So hopefully a lot of stuff answered for you guys. With a really good hang. Really good work in the chat. Let's see. Mining ships are kind of hard. Because it's like, how do you actually mine ships? Mine space. In the Expanse they use nets and explosives. Anyway. Lots more stuff coming your way on Monday. If you haven't, follow the link. And I believe that's in the description below. Mind the gap. Oh, God. The dad jokes are real. Alvin, get the USA pills I accidentally left. The pink ones. Ben needs some. Encouragement to sleep. Hey, John, they're blue. And I have used some recently, and they're really good. Wait. The pink ones? Aren't they the go-go ones? Anyway. Guys, thank you for joining me. We'll be back on Monday with a different kind of stream. So if you want to join us, actually, the best thing you can do is follow our Back Your Kit campaign. Link is in the description. While you're checking that out, why not like and subscribe to the channel, just so you can be with us next Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. I plan to drink some beers. I hope you can enjoy your weekends as well. I might have a little bit of a day off tomorrow, I'm not sure, but I will be working through Sunday and Monday, and we'll see you at the next stream. Alright guys, thanks for joining me and bye!